Okay, so this is part 2. So we're back again. So this is the assignment in question, the one that's titled Exploratory Factor Principle. And like I said, I already showed you guys what the rubric was and what the instructions were for this assignment. And like I said, grades, this is the, so when you click on this, right, that's, if I click on that, I think that's the assignment. So let me click on, and his comment. Okay, so here we have the discussion grading rubric. And like I said, I got full points for my, addressing the content. But then what he's saying, he's not even saying what I wrote. The teacher's talking about, he's saying that it's not even present. Like he doesn't even see it, all right? It's 0, 0. And again, this was his, what's it called? This was his, what he said. Ashley, unfortunately, you do not have a reply. You did a continuation of this assignment. Furthermore, you cannot reply to yourself. You must reply to any other student in your class and do so with a kind and respectful greeting. Moreover, the reply must respond to what the other student wrote in their narrative first post. You may agree or disagree with what the other student said, but the student must give a logical, cogent response. If you are not sure, then read some other post and reply to another person. Okay, so that's incorrect because the first thing is he said I did a continuation of the assignment. No, I didn't. I read her fully. I read what she fully wrote and I addressed it, and it's completely and entirely different than what I wrote. And I submitted that both not only in the discussion chat, you're gonna see it in the grade book, and what's it called? You see that he actually corrects himself in the email, and I'm going to show you parts of the email that is still left on the actual port, because like I said, I have a video of even more things, right? So now let's go back to okay, so this is the submission details, right? So like I said, the picture's different because I recently changed my picture because I'm gonna be starting a new class on the 21st, and I'm preparing, okay? So you see his comment, he sees my thing. Mind you, when did he grade this? He said he graded this the 29th, okay? This was due the 28th, the initial response, which makes sense. And I submitted it, as you can see, 6:40, right? These were the specific questions. Go back to the video that talks about the rubric and what the assignment was, okay? And you can see that it's completely and totally different. Oh, shoot. And you guys could even read it if you would like to. Actually, yeah. So I'm just gonna like scroll, but pause it and read it, and you see what you think about it, right? Okay. References. Now this one, an hour later, a little over an hour later, right? You see it says reply, right? Now these were the specific instructions for the reply, and I met the word count and everything. As a matter of fact, going back to his instructions, it says, furthermore, you cannot reply to yourself. You must reply to another student in your class and do so with a kind and respectful greeting. Which the rubric never says I must do a greeting, right? It just says, answer these questions. Moreover, the reply must respond to what the other student wrote in their narrative / first post. You may agree or disagree with what the other student said, but you must and that's not true because I can't agree or disagree. The instructions say that I need to provide a summary, an agreement, and disagreement. I have to actually provide both on top of a summary, as well as areas of improvement. So even that is incorrect, and he does not know the what's it called, the rules to his own instructions, that he even claims that he wrote the curriculum. Mind you, this assignment was due, look when he graded it, the 29th. This assignment was due on Easter, and I submitted it early. Therefore, if he felt like I didn't follow the rules or it needed a grading, he could have let me know and not graded it, right? But he graded it even though it was not due. And then you're telling me that I'm supposed to know that I'm supposed to have a grading even though the rubric does not say that? No. if that's the case, mind you, you also need to provide evidence sending out claiming that with my email attached to it saying that you told us in week 1, right, that we needed to use a greeting, right? And what do you mean by greeting, right? Because I say in reviewing the discussion post provided by the author, no, I don't specifically use the student's name because, to be honest with you, not everybody goes by their name. I'm a social worker, a clinical social worker, and I prefer to go by the proper gender pronouns or the name that the individual prefers to utilize. And that's why. Now let's actually go to the discussion thread itself. Now I'm going to kind of move my camera because it's going to take me to, let's see. Okay, I think oh shoot. Okay, let me see. Let me go down. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm going to be I'm scrolling down. Okay. So here you see my original post. And mind you, like I said, this, as you can see, there's another student above mine. Okay, now that's the original post as well. This is my original post on the chat room. Okay, this is the actual chat room where there's other students. Because like I said, this isn't my work. And I'll kind of like, see, that's a different student. That's a different student, yeah. That's a different student, okay? But this is the actual chat room, and I can see that. And as you can see, right? So now, watch, someone replied to me. There's another student down there, and that's actually who I replied to. It says okay, right there. Someone replied to, because that student had two, what's it called? What's it called? Let's see. What's it called? Replies as well. So here we go. So here's mine. This is mine replying back to that student's, right? So you see how I have to show that there was, so hi, 2 replies. Okay, right there. So this is showing, and I can prove evidence, right, that I'm replying back to that other student. And it says reply. And this is, like I said, everybody can see these things in reviewing the author. And I'm talking about the student, right? And again, I'm using the author. There is no email. There's never in the assignment instructions or the rubric. I've never got docked for not saying hi. Okay. Now let's actually go to the discussion. I'm going to show you guys my inbox, right? Because part of what when they came back with, and actually let me take you guys there so you guys can start writing down the facts for yourself. This was the outcome of the investigation. So after Easter 31st, the Monday, the office was closed. The next day, I called to do I submitted my report, and I could show you guys that as well. And I have submitted the evidence and proof, all of these things, right? To show the clear picture. Now, after a week came back, this is what they said. They said, Miss Marshall, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time. And I'm just going to pause it or do this. You guys, you pause it and you read it for yourself, right? But I need to also, I'm going to point out some things too. Let me push this back so you guys can kind of see it a little better. Well, here, let me see if I could hold it steady and as I read it really quickly. Okay, it says, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me last Friday. After our call, I had the opportunity to investigate the issue that you raised during our call. I reviewed all supporting documents that you provided. I spoke with the professor. Here's what I found. As for your discussion board assignment, I reviewed the March 29th email exchange that you had. In one of the messages, noted that considered one of your posts a continuation of your main post and not a reply to another student. He suggested that you post an appropriate reply and wait until the reply was due to post it. I also noticed that on the same day, advised that the replies are due the following week, but may reply sooner. I also noticed that on the same day, advised that replies are due the following week, but that's not addressed in our emails, and I'm gonna show you in the email anyway. I asked, but see, why is he asking me to wait to do my reply until it's due. You get what I'm saying? When I can submit my reply early, right? Especially considering the fact that it's Easter. And I would think that Liberty University would, in a sense, respect that. It says, I asked Dr. Daly to clarify this and explain to students are free. And so again, he asked for clarification, but it doesn't matter because he singled me out, telling me that I need to submit. And I'm going to show you guys the evidence, right? They're able to work at their own pace, but they're allowed to, he says they're able to complete, students are free to complete coursework at their own pace and are allowed to work ahead of schedule. For discussion reply, see, so they even proves that I was able to submit it, right? Early. For discussion reply, students would be able to reply as soon as there were 2 or more students who submitted their initial post. He noted that he will accept your replies if you post them in the discussion area, right? Discussion board area, or as an attachment to a message sent to him within the Canvas platform. And I'm going to take you guys there. So you already saw that I did post it in discussion area, right? Okay. As for the requirement to oppose in a greeting and a discussion board replies, I reviewed your message with Dr. Daly and I familiarized myself with the professor's view inside the Canvas platform. In the gradebook, the student's initial posts and replies are visible on one screen. There's no indication of which peer and student replied to unless it is indicated in the post. If there's no greeting present with the peer's name, the professor would then have to search through part of the, see, all of this stuff is made up, right? Because one, say for example, the student wants to utilize gender neutral pronouns, or, you know, I don't know what preference name. If I say the author, right, and clearly you see who I'm responding to because I showed you guys, you know, on the discussion on the discussion board, chat room, right? And I also submitted pictures of who it was that I was responding to and what it was talking about. So all of these things, again, are just hoopla. Now let's actually go to Canvas, which he's saying that I could have submitted. This was the very first email, you guys. You see I have 2 attachments? Okay. I say, and so I'm trying to understand because I did not understand why this professor was gave me a 0. Not even took points because it has nothing to do with the content, right? I said, good morning. I hope you find this email well. I am writing to seek clarification regarding the recent assignment. You know, discussion post week 2, specifically the feedback regarding my response to my classmates' post this week. In my response, I endeavor to adhere to this prescribed format by encompassing areas of agreement, a summary of content, suggestions for improvement, areas of degrees, and all within the designated word limit of 200 words per post. However, considering your feedback and reviewing my classmates' response, I noticed that only one other classmate had posted a discussion reply to week 2, and their response bore similarities to mine. Given that my approach mirrored the structure and depth of the analysis that had earned positive evaluations previous assignment, I was somewhat perplexed by the discrepancies. So meaning I'm also pointing out that other students did not follow the rubric, meaning the breakdown of the things that I listed. As a matter of fact, they did more so what Dr. Danley has suggested in his comment, right? But that's not the rubric. You get what I'm saying? And anyways, I said, I noted mentioned that I replied to myself. However, so I'm saying, like, pretty much I noted that he mentioned that I replied to myself. However, I would like to respectfully express that while I understand your viewpoint regarding the nature of my response, I see it as an analyst and direct reply to my classmates' response rather than a continuation of their initial post. I responded and I tell them who I responded to. Additionally, if there are any specific requirements of refinement, I would greatly appreciate your insight to ensure my future submission align closely with the expectations. I would also like to mention that I have a hectic schedule at this time and I tend to submit assignments early to manage my workload effectively. I apologize if my early submission could cause any confusion. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I value your feedback and I look forward to your guidance. That's what I wrote in this email. Okay, and again, so there's things missing, right? Let's continue. So this is just a kind of like a copy of what it is, but then okay, let's continue on. He then writes, in a way you were right, Ashley, but you inadvertently put your continuation in the reply section. What is he talking about? I suggest you delete your posts in the reply section and then wait until the reply is due. So 1, he's telling me that I cannot submit my assignment early. Is he or is he not? Okay, yes, he is. And it's due. When is the reply due? The reply is due the 31st. Why did he grade my assignment early if it's not due the 31st? If he saw it and he didn't like it, make a comment. Do not grade it. I am correct. You guys saw my reply. My reply was on both it was in the grade book, and he saw it, and you also saw the reply underneath my student, as well as submitting pictures of who it was that I was replying to. And so I say, well, thank you for reviewing my quick. I would delete my response. So I say, I'm just going to go back and delete it, and I'll see. But then I realized I couldn't delete it, right? Because I actually responded to the classmate's response. I'm not the original creator of the original post. That's because I did it the proper way, right? So that's why I reach out. I say, hello, Dr. Dan. I hope your email finds. I'm writing to bring to your attention an issue I encountered to manage, right, my assignment submission. I attempted to delete my response in order to adhere to the requirement of posting my reply within the specified time frame. Meaning, I was even saying, okay, I will submit it on Easter like you asked me. However, I encountered a hurdle as I realized that I do not have the option to delete my response post since I am not the original author of the discussion post. It appears that only the original author, my classmate, and I say who they are, thus affecting my ability to modify my response accordingly. I understand the importance of adhering. So I know that I'm not wrong at all, but I'm taking the blame. I'm telling this professor, you know what? Look, although I followed your instructions, sir, right? Although I followed your instructions, right? By making a reply to my classmate ahead of time, I had plans. I have plans. Similar to how you have plans and you explained to me, oh, you're busy and you're at church. You see what I'm talking about? And you see how, in a way, you're right, Ashley. You see, so it had nothing to do with the content. You see? Had nothing to do with the content. Because actually, I followed the instructions. My classmates did not. I think maybe another person did. But I followed the rubric to the T. And that's why we have a rubric. Because you can't have a professor now come back saying you didn't have a greeting when the rubric never says that. And I say it respectful as I'm addressing them as author, because I don't know what they want to be called. I don't know what their specific pronouns are. So I don't think, no, not that I don't think, I know I'm not wrong. But let's continue the conversation, right? Okay, here we go. Here, I send him again, okay? And you can see who the student is, the reply, and all that stuff. Okay, let's continue on. That's just it's copying again. And then he says, that's okay, forget it. He said, that's okay, forget deleting it. And just do the proper reply by the end of the week's grading period. What is the proper reply? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is he talking? So he said that I replied to myself. That's not true. He said he gave me incorrect as to the material that needed to be in the reply. That's incorrect. He then tells me that I need to submit it on the day it's due. That's incorrect. Then he tells me that forget it. Just do the proper. What is the proper reply? Because I told you what the proper reply in my first email was. I'm trying to get clarification. This was the instructions. I made sure to double check, as I always do, which is why I have the GPA that I do, right? Okay. Let's continue on. Okay, that's okay. Forget it. Just do the proper reply by the end of this week's grading period. So again, that's just a copy of what we're talking about. Hello, Dr. D. Can you please review, because I did do the proper reply. I sent you 2 attachments that show that I did follow the procedures best.